we are done with the convolution of analog signals. So now let's focus on the laboratory activity 8 about convolution of digital signals. So the objectives are to implement convolution manually and to verify results using Python's numpy.convolve. Okay, so let's proceed now to the code. So yeah, so these are the code. First is that I've imported um, numpy as np and import matplotlib.pyplot as a plt. And so the first thing is that to define the two discrete signals, which are the x and the h. So for the x, we have here the input signals 1, 2, 3, and 4. And for the impulse response, I have here the 1, -1, and 2. So those are the discrete signals. Now is that I've defined the manual convolution. So we're going to find out how these two have been convolved. So for the x and h. So n, it means that the length of the input signal, and the m is the length of the impulse signal. So while the y here says that np that zeros n plus m minus 1 is it means that the y initializes this is the array that initializes with 0 to store the convolution result. So the length of the convolution is always n plus m minus 1. So for n in range n plus m minus 1, we have here the condition. So for the outer loop, the n, which is the n, it iterates over each index of the output. And for the k, it is the inner loop. So it initiates, iterates over each element of x of n. So this is the condition that if 0 is less than or equal to n minus k is greater than m, so y of n plus is equal positive is equal to x quantity of k times h and minus k. So this is the discrete. Okay, this one here is actually the discrete convolution sum formula, and finally it returns to it. And here it stores the y numpy is equal to np.convolve, and that's what happens. And after that, we're going to plot the results using this codes. The fig size, we will the subplot again, and also the labels, x, y labels, subplot. And here on the plot stem, it says here actually the colors. For example, here the line, there's a line and there's a mark, there's a base, and for the G it says green, for the R it's red, and the label manual convolve and the numpy convolve. And finally the title, which is the convolution output, and the title layout, and finally the show. So let's see how the code runs. Okay, so this is the x. Okay, so this is the input signal, x of n. This is the impulse response. And this is the convolution. Okay, yeah, that's the convolution. As you can see, there's a manual convolution and there's a mark for the numpy convolution. So that's all for this video. Thank you.